A Turnip Too Far, a Falcon Too Soon, by an individual. The distant roar of the plane had settled down into a dull, monotonous whir. The activities around him, a young woman chatting away with her friend 2 seats ahead, the baby crying in the back, the overall chatter and hustle-bustle of a moving plane sailing through the sky to a small airport just south of Scotland. All these things were brought down to the same low octave for him. Minjo had his mind on her. What had been a chance encounter on a site called Game FAQs had now evolved into a meeting between 2 people, one incredibly manly, the other soft and girlish. Dare I say, perfect opposites. Oh yes, Minjo used to think this girl, her name was Peachy, wasn't even a girl, but just another countless man pretending to be girl on the wide web. But once evidence was presented to him, long brown hair and bright brown eyes, something happened to him. It felt as if a hole had opened in his chest, gaping and gasping for air. What was this feeling? This emptiness that had to be filled? This desire to see that pale ivory skin again and again? See it dully reflect the setting sun until that great ball of fire and her shining eyes connected in a place where his desires would be settled at once. Alas, he had realized not 2 weeks before his visit. It was love. The intercom in the plane signaled the descent into Scottish territory, but Minjo's mind had already drifted to sweet, sweet Peachy. What things happen to him in the boyish regions of his head are private to him, but if you look closely at him, you could roughly estimate the intimacy his imagination was crafting. His skin was lightly coated with sweat, and he pawed uncomfortably at a growing bulge in his pants. Oh yes, it was the same imagination that had spurred countless hours in the bathroom and almost half a jar of petroleum jelly, or on those special nights, grapeseed oil.
I hope she wears that black dress she has, the one ending right near her knees.
Their meeting was nice, not nearly as awkward as he thought it would have been. She wasn't wearing that black dress, but it was cold where they were at, even in the dainty cafe they had stopped by. She wore a green shirt, low cut, so he could see a tiny amount of shade between those 2 perfect breasts. Over that, a gray jacket. She didn't zip it up all the way. Minjo had paid for the coffee, and this was her way of paying him back. They talked, mostly about their personal lives, which, Minjo especially, didn't reveal too much beforehand. But occasionally they lighted on the time on Game FAQs, their silly rivalry that was just hiding their true emotions, those laggy but fun battles where she almost came so close to winning. Things like that. They talked for a long time. Both of them knew what was going to happen later that night, so this was the time for getting to know the lives of each other, before they got to know the bodies of each other. She had led him up to a decent-sized green apartment building, confiding in him that she had spent quite a bit of her savings on this, not saying aloud what her plans were for that night, but her momentary hesitation and quick, flitting smile gave it all away. Minjo had noticed a shape in the back pocket on those tight jeans, with the heart-shaped embroidery, flat and square, with a bulging circle outline. It had taken him a bit to notice what it was, but when he did, he had to put a large amount of his willpower into keeping his little buddy from tenting his pants. A condom! Oh lordy, a condom! She was going the whole way! And then the boyish parts of his mind exploded in visceral images, and his balls realized, today's the day, everybody! Wake up! Wake up! Oh, and it was the day, specifically night. Peachy opened the door, let him in, closed it, locked it, and immediately and casually pulled off her coat. It got hot. Very hot. Within seconds they were making out, tongues rapping and exploring, arms quickly and awkwardly slipping on their clothing. Minjo reached under that green shirt and squeezed her right breast. She groaned into his mouth. Peachy smiled at him. Girlish charm and a pink tinge of pure cuteness lingered in those brown eyes. She helped him off his shirt, which flopped in the pile of steadily growing clothes. Minjo fell onto a red sofa, and Peachy crawled over him, each leg on either side of him. Peachy pulled her shirt off from over Minjo's gripping hands and mashed her lips against his. They were soft and tasted sweet and familiar. Of course, Minjo thought. Peaches. He fumbled with her bra clasp, and she reached back and guided his hands to unhook it. The red and pink lace bra fell away, and Peachy's amazing breasts were inches from his face. Without hesitation, Minjo leaned forward and started to suck on the sensitive nipples. First the left, then the right, then alternating in between as Peachy reached down and rubbed the large bulge propping up the denim of Minjo's jeans. It would have been lying to say that Minjo wasn't nervous about if his nether parts would come up to her standards. An obsession with size is a trait carried by almost all men. But as Peachy pulled down the zipper, the lust and eagerness in her eyes and the way her tongue licked at her lips invigorated Minjo, and he tightened whatever muscle you used to make your dick bounce, and watched with childish eyes at how Peachy was shocked for a moment, at how it seemed to be alive behind the blue-green plaid of his boxers. The truth was, Peachy had never been with another man before. In fact, she barely had thought about it until she met Minjo. Peachy thought of herself as innocent and liked to flaunt it in excess girlishness. But now, those innocent features had melted away, and his eyes glowed with adult lust and purpose. The second truth was, though Minjo was worried, his length and width was on the happy side of average. Actually, above average. Okay, he was effing huge. Peachy pulled down those boxers